Welcome to the webcast for the Polaris Dawn EVA, also known as an extravehicular activity or spacewalk. For the first time ever, a spacewalk will be performed by civilian astronauts flying on a commercial spacecraft. Good morning, I'm Kate Tice, Senior Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX in Hawthorne, California.
And I'm Dan Hewitt from the communications team. Now, the first EVA in history was performed in 1965 by Soviet cosmonaut Alexei Leonov.
In that view, that is the Skywalker, which we will come back to shortly. We may also have helmet cameras that will give us a first-person view from the crew, which will be incredible. Now, since we are not using Starlink to enable views today, there will be moments of expected loss of signal due to ground station coverage. So those views may be interrupted from time to time, but generally we expect to get some great shots today.
Got in there. I got a kid who needs one.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the first phase of the spacewalk, the preparation actually started just about 2 hours after the crew reached orbit. And this is when the pre-breathe process started. That's when the oxygen levels started to increase incrementally as the cabin pressure inside Dragon was started to get incrementally lower.
The pre-breathe process is designed to decrease the amount of nitrogen in the body, which then reduces the risk of decompression sickness, which can happen as atmospheric pressure lowers. Protocols like this are used for any spacewalk done today and might feel familiar to anyone here on Earth that has gone scuba diving and done a decompression stop after ascending from a pressure in deep water back up to the surface.
And to do all this, Dragon's just been slowly decreasing that cabin pressure. That allows the crew to acclimate each time the pressure gets lower as they get ready for the lower pressure they'll be in the suit during the spacewalk itself. They've got the ability to pause the process if they experience any discomfort, but the ear equilibrium just kind of naturally adjusts as the pressure decreases. It's kind of like when your ears pop when you change altitude on an airplane. All 4 astronauts are going to be suited for the spacewalk today because Dragon does not have an airlock. That's also kind of why the entire cabin is going to be depressurized. That's why we have this kind of unique pre-breathe process with this stuff today too.
All of that brings us to now. So far, the crew has prepared the cabin for vacuum, which includes securing all loose items that they don't want floating around. They also completed medical checks, suit inspections, and final checkouts of the oxygen, venting, and nitrogen repressurization systems. After that, it was time to put on their EVA suits.
And now Jared and Sarah will be exiting the spacecraft today, while Kid and Anna will be supporting from the inside. Crew in the outer 2 seats, Kid and Anna, are going to be fully strapped in, and then the 2 in the middle seats, Jared and Sarah, are just going to be lightly secured ahead of the spacewalk since they're going to be moving around and eventually heading outside.
As we listen into comms during the EVA, you may hear the crew referred to as EV1, which is Jared, and EV2, which is Sarah. Support 1 is Kid and Support 2 is Anna. Again, they will not exit the Dragon during the EVA, but make no mistake, they are very much performing an EVA just the same, and their data is being collected as well.
Once everybody's in position, the seats are going to get rotated upright. Generally, they stay in the recline position for the majority of the mission, but we're going to rotate those upright during the EVA just to give more room to move about. After that seat rotation, the crew verifies that their heads-up display or the HUD on their helmet visors are turned on, operating as expected. This is how the crew will actually be able to keep tabs on the health of their suits, and they'll get some other stats of their suit operation during the spacewalk.
And that will take us to the first official go, no-go checkpoint to determine if the EVA can proceed. After an operations brief from the SpaceX team, the crew will announce their go, no-go status, and then it'll be time for the spacewalk to begin. It's expected to last about 2 hours from the time that O2 begins flowing to the crew's suits until we complete the repressurization of the cabin.
And just prior to we get to cabin venting, pure oxygen is going to start flowing to the crew's suits. That's when the EVA clock will start, so keep an eye on that. And this all gets followed by a suit leak check. We'll do the leak checks. Once those look good, Mission Control will start to vent the cabin, just removing the air in order to lower its pressure down until we can get to hatch opening.
Next, Dragon will use its Draco thrusters to reposition itself so that the trunk is facing the sun. This will help keep temperatures, communications, and spacecraft power stable during the spacewalk. At this point, the crew should be ready to open Dragon's hatch and exit the spacecraft.
After the hatch gets opened, EV1, that's Jared's call sign during the spacewalk, he's going to be the first to exit the spacecraft. He's going to go outside and he's going to do a series of mobility tests. These are kind of the core component of the spacewalk today. He's going to basically take the EVA suit through the paces. It's going to take about 15 minutes before he climbs back into Dragon.
After that, EV2, or Sarah, will step out into space to perform the same tests of her EVA suit before she then climbs back into Dragon. In addition to these suit mobility tests, Jared and Sarah will also evaluate Dragon's new Skywalker hardware. We'll talk more about that in just a bit.
And then after she's completed her test, Sarah will stand by near the hatch for the actual closing. And at this point, after the hatch is closed, the EVA is not over. The hatch door gets closed, and then the cabin has to be repressurized. We got to get all that atmosphere back inside. After we start introducing that atmosphere, we'll do cabin leak checks.
Once those leak checks are complete, the crew will return to their seats, and the EVA will be complete when the cabin pressure has returned to nominal. So, for now, the crew is suited up and awaiting final checkouts and EVA venting, which will bring in Dragon to vacuum. With everything on track, we're about 45 minutes or so from the start of the spacewalk.
Everybody, that's what everybody wants to do.
SpaceX, for awareness, we're going to be commanding a couple fans right here. You'll hear them run, but then we'll also be turning them off. No correction required.
Copy.
With 16 Draco thrusters, we got a really cool view of the 4 forward bulkhead ones firing earlier on this flight with lights on the Earth behind you. Those are used to orient the spacecraft during the mission. They also get used for apogee and perigee raise and lower maneuvers, orbit adjustments, and attitude control. For the EVA, the Dracos are going to be used to reposition Dragon so the trunk is facing the sun, and they're also there to be used for reorientation during the spacewalk if needed.
In order to accommodate a spacewalk, this is the first Dragon to be outfitted with a Skywalker in place of the cupola observation dome. The Skywalker that you see there, looking up at it basically from underneath it, the Skywalker is a structure that is mounted to the top of the Dragon capsule, and the astronauts will use this to assist in exiting and re-entering the spacecraft during their spacewalk. The team also added additional nitrogen tanks to assist in repressurization of the capsule after the EVA. Another new feature on Dragon is the addition of a motor plus handholds and footholds inside the spacecraft to help with opening and closing the hatch during the spacewalk.
This Dragon also carrying what we are calling the Starlink plug and placer, making this the first mission on Dragon to use the Starlink network in orbit. Inside of Dragon is a router connected to a user terminal in Dragon's trunk, and then this terminal is linked to a new plug and placer device that's mounted nearby. While we're not using Starlink for continuous coverage during this operation, we've been testing its ability to establish and maintain laser communications with our Starlink satellites there in orbit that are below Dragon.
Dragon has proved to be quite a versatile spacecraft. It can autonomously dock to the space station when outfitted with the ISS docking adapter, and when it's intended for free flyer mode, the docking adapter can be swapped out.
Space X Dragon, you guys are welcome to come back aboard if you want.
SpaceX copies. Don't have a ground station right now, but we'll go ahead and bring cameras back on board so we get it when we do have ground stations.
Copy.
Dragon, SpaceX. Successful leak checks. Dragon has initiated cabin venting. Venting complete. Stand by for GNC config and hatch open. Dragon, SpaceX. SpaceX is go for EVA operations.
We should be hearing some comms from them pretty soon, and then
SpaceX Dragon EV1 is completing glove zipper closures, but at this time we are ready for seat rotation.
Copy that for seat rotation. Can you confirm crew is ready with the current glove zipper ops?
Numbers at the bottom of your screen, you've got a couple right now. That one all the way in the bottom left corner, that's your Dragon. That's your Dragon cabin pressure. That's in PSI.
Space X Dragon, you're ready for seat rotation.
SpaceX copies. Initiating seat rotation.
Great news there. That's going to help give the crew a little bit more room to move around during the spacewalk. And after we get through the seat rotation, we'll be able to perform those suit leak checks that we were just talking about.
And Kid on either side.
Dragon SpaceX, suit HUDs powered. Report results of primary sensor HUD checks in 3.2.
So again, that's our seat layout. We just heard the HUDs are powered on, so they've got heads-up displays actually being kind of projected on their visor in their helmet. A little unorthodox way to see like your suit data.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. It's of course the suits.
And SpaceX HUD checkouts complete all nominal.
Nice.
Copy. Swapping to backup sensors. Stand by to repeat HUD checks.
So, of course, the suits that we use for the spacewalks on station are a little bit older. They've been around for quite a while, and so some of this technology,
oh, look, it's our first live views inside Dragon Resilience for this morning.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I think this is the definition of chillin'.
Yeah.
So they're out of his seat. That's Commander.
Again, pretty soon.
Dragon SpaceX powering on helmet cams.
We're going to get the helmet cams powered on. Again, give you that kind of look right over their shoulders.
Yeah, pretty excited for these. We've seen them utilized during the training sessions that the crew has undergone, and we're so excited to see them live today. Yeah,
I tell you, the helmet cameras, I mean, it's going to be fantastic views, right, that we're all going to love. But there's also a very important role for those cameras as well. Like when we have the same thing, we have helmet cameras with the EMUs, and what it allows is your ground team.
Dragon SpaceX, suit cameras powered, confirm good health.
So it really allows your ground teams to kind of be able to see what you're doing. And
SpaceX, we see good video and both speeds, no faults.
And almost double check your work.
Copy, checkouts complete. HUDs will remain powered. Proceed to step 3.3, operations review through 3.8, report when complete.
More?
And so this'll be one of the unique things about the spacewalk today. It'll feel familiar if you watch some of Mike's spacewalks. The crew is going to go over to what's called Vox.
Push to talk is set. Go for com check.
EV1, com check.
EV2, com check.
Support 1, com check.
Support 2, com check.
SpaceX copies all, good comms, all 4 crew. SpaceX copies all, good comms, all 4 crew. Dragon SpaceX. SpaceX is go for spacewalk operations. Report visors down, ready for secondary O2 flow initiation, and crew is go for spacewalk.
Verify your visors are closed. Secondary O2 valve is open. And that you are go for the EVA.
EV1 is go.
EV2 is go.
Support 1 is go.
Support 2 is go.
Dragon SpaceX initiating secondary O2.
And with that news, our EVA has begun.
Dragon SpaceX, secondary flow purge complete. Close secondary O2 valves and report ready for suit pressurization.
EV1 closed.
EV2 closed.
Port 1 closed.
Port 2 closed. Space X Dragon is ready for suit pressurization.
Initiating primary O2. Copy, initiating cabin venting.
There we go.
That is great news.
Exciting.
So that breathing of increase, that pre-breathe where they were breathing increased oxygen, we just heard that they're good. They all 4 crew members gave the go. So now we're gonna vent the cabin.
Yeah, in total, this will take about 8 minutes, and you can the graphics you see on your screen, that's live telemetry, everybody. So you can see the pressure inside Dragon starting to tick down. You're going to see the suit pressure tick down as well. Is what we're really trying to maintain is a pressure differential. And so with these suits, we're going to be hovering right around 5 or so. You might see about 4.9 to 5.1, 5.2. Mike, did you get to open the hatch?
I did. Yes. Yeah. When you go out as
EVA hatch open front.
Dragon SpaceX, we're in EVA hatch open prep. Confirm crew ready to open hatch.
That is great news.
Hatch opening. EV1's good.
EV2's good.
Port 1 good. Port 2 good. SpaceX, EV1, we're ready to open the hatch.
SpaceX copies. Dragon, you are go to open hatch.
Go. Exciting.
Copy that, SpaceX, go to open the hatch.
Mike, as you mentioned before, that continuous communication.
The hatch handle.
As you can hear, we do have a crowd gathering outside of Mission Control here in Hawthorne. In their excitement, somebody dropped a cup. We can see our commander, Jared Isaacman, now turning the crank, which allows the that top hatch to open. We'll see him give it a pretty heavy...
EV1, hatch is visually indicating open.
SpaceX copies. Stand by.
Should see him give that hatch a pretty strong jolt to release that stiction. Jared now opening Dragon Resilience into space.
So you saw some motion on the hatch. Again, he's just giving it kind of that initial tug. And then Sarah gets to push the button to swing that hatch open.
Much more movement there on the forward hatch. This must be pretty exciting for Jared because that center part of
Dragon SpaceX, that's a good brace. We're going to have you repeat the operation.
Center of the hatch actually has a window.
SpaceX, the hatch is unseated.
Copy.
Let's give it another call. The hatch is several inches inflated from the right.
Copy, we see it.
Looking out that tiny window there in the forward hatch, knowing he is going to have a much bigger window in just minutes.
Dragon SpaceX vent complete. EV1 return to seat.
And EV1 copy, transitioning back under the display.
So again, one of the reasons we had Jared do that was to...
Dragon SpaceX, we're actually watching that hatch. We're going to have you repeat the last operation.
That is fantastic news for those that...
SpaceX EV1, I'm looking at the seals. Initial view looks pretty good. I don't see any bulges or indentations.
Copy on hatch seal report.
Yeah, that seal that you just heard him talking about, it's such a important part.
Execute.
If you just jumped in, we are 38 minutes into today's spacewalk, and the hatch is open on Dragon. First view from a helmet cam, looking out.
Dragon SpaceX, we see it stalled. EV1 is go to continue.
That structure you see there is...
Check for egress. EV1 SpaceX EV1, I'm transitioning back from under the displays.
SpaceX copies, we're with you in your helmet cam.
Once again, this helmet cam, that structure we see is the spacewalker. This is Jared now egressing through the forward hatch of Dragon Resilience. These are the first views of the first ever commercial spacewalk.
I'm at the bottom of the mobility aid, progressing.
I have a feeling the crowd is about to go wild.
Good call.
Approaching the top of the mobility aid. SpaceX, back at home we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, Earth sure looks like a perfect world. Alright, SpaceX, EV1, I'm going to step into test matrix 1. Single-handed mobility demonstration.
Commander Jared Isaacman now emerging
Copy,
from...
we're with you in test matrix 1, watching from the nose cone.
Up, down, left, and right are 3s. Pitch and roll are 3. Yaw is a 2. Switching. Single-handed operations are fine. Static and with dynamic disturbance. Switching to left hand. Up, down, left, and right are 3s, maybe a 2. Pitch is a 4. Roll is a 2. Yaw is a 2.
So these are the suit mobility checks that Jared is
Single-handed
performing.
operations, dynamic and with disturbance are all adequate. Test matrix 1 complete. HUD check, 5.3 psi, 48% RH, 33.9 Celsius.
SpaceX copies test matrix 1 and HUD readout.
Crew ops check, EV1's good. EV2's good. Port 1's good. Port 2's good. Okay, stepping into vertical translation. We're going to start with the horizontal bars. All right, we're going to transition over to vertical. I'd say vertical and horizontal are equally workable, slight lead favors horizontal. I'm going to do a max reach. Left hand's at the top of the mobility aid. At the midpoint. You have good video?
We just lost our live video, but stand by one.
Okay, switching over to max reach, switching hands. Copy that, SpaceX. I'm holding up at the max reach.
And EV1, go ahead and continue the operation. We'll let you know we're back on with live video.
Copy that. And for your awareness, max reach, let me aid, and the mid bar. And that's test matrix 2 is complete. HUD readout, 5.3 PSI, 33.9 Celsius, 50% RH.
Copy, test matrix complete and HUD readout.
Crew op check, EV1's good.
EV2's good.
We're good.
Poteet good.
Stepping into test matrix 3, hands-free demonstration.
EV1 SpaceX for ingress time.
Go SpaceX.
Recommended ingress time of O2 flow plus 7 minutes.
Copy that. Ingress time, 7 minutes.
And Dragon, we're back on live video from the nose cone.
Copy that, SpaceX. And SpaceX EV1, I would say the hands-free demonstration is very comparable to the trainer in terms of the foot restraints.
SpaceX copies.
And SpaceX EV1, we've taken a quick look here at the hatch seals. From what I can see so far, they look pretty good.
Copy on the hatch seals and stand by for transition to 3-off reset.
I mean, I said it before, a lot of us work here because we want to do this.
All right, stepping into test matrix 1 for single-handed mobility.
Really cool to see one of our own out there. That's awesome.
And EV2 for awareness, we're watching from the nose cone.
And copy all. I would say in all 3 translational axes, I'm having certainly cross-coupled movements. Forward, back, I am inducing a bit of a roll. Similarly with left, right, and up, down, a bit of a pitch, but all are achievable, rating of 3. Yaw is a 3. Roll is a 4. And pitch is a 3. Source for left hand, stepping into vertical translation.
SpaceX copies. And EV2 for awareness, we're tracking an ingress time at O2 flow, 5-9 minutes.
Copy, 5-9 minutes. Horizontal bars are definitely preferred. And I'm adequately able to stabilize my body with single hand disturbances.